Let's get you a live look of Capitol Hill. Bit of a cloudy day in D.C. Right now, lawmakers have come together. They came together at 1 a.m., I should say, to debate a contentious budget bill. Members of Congress traded barbs during that meeting. Now, if passed, it would push through several of President Trump's major legislative priorities, including tax cuts. The president met with House GOP caucus members yesterday, urging them to get this measure passed. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang joins us now with more on this. Weijia, good morning to you. So we watched as President Trump was on Capitol Hill yesterday, pushing those House Republicans to get behind this bill. In front of cameras, he said he was not losing his patience. But what do we know about what he said behind closed doors?
Good morning, Errol, and good morning to everybody. In front of cameras, the president wanted to stress that his party is more unified than ever. He said that there was love inside that room when he had a meeting for over 1 hour with House Republicans. But we also know that behind the scenes, he pretty much laid down the law, warning Republicans that they need to get this done. There are a couple factions holding out. One, wants more local and state tax breaks. The other wants to trim more when it comes to entitlement programs, for example, Medicaid. On that front, we know that, according to sources who were inside the room, the president was very clear. He said, don't F around with Medicaid. And then he said later publicly that, he doesn't want to cut anything there. He just wants to focus on cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. But we also know that, something's got to give here, right, Errol? And so, that's why they are having these intense sessions to try to get this bill over the line, which, as you rightfully mentioned, includes so many of Trump's campaign promises. And he said himself that this was an important part of his legacy. But he can only lose no more than 3 votes to keep this bill alive and send it over to the Senate. So these are some pretty tense days coming up as they continue to debate. Yeah,
that's a very tight margin. Also in the bill, apparently, is this money for what's being described as a Golden Dome missile defense system. What is that exactly?
So it's what it sounds like. They would basically have a system around the U.S. and apparently Canada as well to shield the countries from missile strikes. And we know that in this bill, there would be $25 billion provided for this, which was a huge initiative that the president, along with the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, announced yesterday here at the White House. The president says it would be completed by the end of his term with a total price tag of $175 billion, Errol, he says, to protect this country.
All right, Weijia Jiang with the latest at the White House. Weijia, thanks so much.
Sure.